Welcome, everyone. I am Lori Hammond, and I'm honored to be interviewing Freddy Jacquin today. Freddy Jacquin has a recent book called Hypnotherapy, Methods, Techniques, and Philosophies of Freddy Jacquin. That is one of my personal, probably my favorite book that I have read on hypnosis. It's a thorough work, and it's great for anyone who is just starting out learning hypnosis or who has been practicing hypnosis for many years. He's also creating some beautiful children's books, which will be out in the next few months. And Freddy is known for the arrow technique, but he is so much more. There is so much more to him. He has a private practice and has seen 30,000 plus clients over the span of his career. He has the world record for helping the most people stop smoking in one session. That was 150 people. And Freddy, how many people do you estimate you've helped stop smoking total?
It will be over 20,000 people.
That's absolutely amazing.
In 2006, I saw 5,000 smokers in 1 year.
And do you mostly do the smoking as group work or individual, or a combination of the two?
Well, I'm not doing the groups like I used to. For some years, I used to do them all around the country. And I'll tell you something which sounds very strange, but it's absolutely true. I used to use the hospital lecture theatres to run these quit smoking seminars. And I was doing that for years. And all the big hospitals, all the teaching hospitals around the country, St Bart's, Manchester Royal Infirmary, the Alexander in Portsmouth, all around the country, where they had these beautiful tiered lecture theatres. And I'd see 200 people at a time for smoking. And I got an email from one of the managers of one of the hospitals. And they said, "We can't let you use the lecture theatres anymore." And I said, "Why?" And this is true, honestly. They said, "You're taking too many people out of the smoking habit. And because of that, we're not getting people through the smoke cessation clinics. And if we don't get them through the clinics, we don't get the funding. So we can't let you use it." If you think, they're supposed to be, it is the most disgusting thing you could possibly think about, really. That you'd stop someone because they're too good at what they do in helping people quit smoking. But anyway, there was the ban in 2007, which made a big difference in those groups. And I honestly believe, and maybe I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, but I was teaching people from 1999 to do what I do. So there are other people helping people in groups of smoking. And around 2006, 2007, people were quitting smoking in their hordes. I could put an advert anywhere in this country and get 200 people in a room. And as I said, in 1 year, I saw 5,000 people. Wow. And other people were doing that. Now, the government in England, I don't know what it's like in America, but they make billions, quite literally billions out of tax on cigarettes. So if you're a government and you can see billions of pounds being wiped off your revenue, how do you stop people from quitting? So this is my theory. They called in the best psychologists, and they said, "We've got people quitting smoking in their hordes, and we're going to lose billions of pounds. How can we stop them quitting?" Well, they said, "Well, you're the government. What happens when the government say you're going to ban something or you're not allowed to do something?" I said, "Well, the people do it even more. It happened in, Prohibition. People didn't drink like that till they said you can't drink." So in 2006, they announced that they were going to ban smoking in restaurants, clubs, pubs, wherever. And this is honest truth. Overnight, my business went from 200 people in a room to 17 people in a room. Same advertising, same marketing. It just dropped off. And people said, "Well, don't worry, Freddie. In 2007, people have got to quit smoking. You're going to be inundated with work." I said, "I won't." And in 2007, July, my smoking business flatlined. Wow. And even people who had quit smoking started smoking again just out of spite. That's how crazy we are as human beings.
Right.
So you can see what I'm talking about. So anyway, I've got other business. I work, in all kinds of fields with hypnosis. I work with corporates and sales, and also work with all the other problems that people have. So the quit smoking thing was a thing I did of an evening. I used to go around the country doing it, but I still have my private practice, which I've been doing, as I said, since '95. And I can't ever see a day when I don't want to do it, really. I love it, as you do. I know you do.
Yeah.
see people change, and it's just such an incredible thing, really.
And
Whether it's fear, whether it's weight loss, when you see someone whose life's changed and they believe their life's changed because something we've done.
yes.
As I say, when I train people, I don't believe I do anything. My ability is to get people out of their own way. That's how I see it.
Yep.
And someone once said, what's the goal in therapy? And my belief is that the bottom line is we just change beliefs. People come and see you and they say, Laurie, I can't quit, I can't lose weight. I've tried everything, tried the diets, I've tried all these different things. And you find a way of changing that belief. And they suddenly realize, of course I could do this. And then they do it. It's the same with smokers. They come in believing they cannot quit. I ask a simple question for smokers that changes that belief in a moment. And I sort of sneak up on them in the smoking thing. You've heard it on my smoking audio that I sent you the other day. I asked a question. I said, if you'd been to your doctor yesterday and he said, have another cigarette, you'd die. I said, the chance of you quitting are minimal. And people nod because they've been to the doctors. They know that. But I've also asked earlier on about who they love most. Their kids, their partner, their wife, their mother, whoever it might be. So I've got that name somewhere on my little bit of, history take, if you like. So I say, but you have to ask the question, if you'd been to your doctor yesterday and he said, have another cigarette and Bobby would die, if your boy's life depended upon you quitting today, you quit, would you not? And all of those 20,000 people, no one said, no, I wouldn't do it. They all nod.
Yeah.
Now, in that moment, that belief that they can't quit is dissolved. They can still go and smoke, but they can no longer believe they can't do it. And that's the big belief you have to crack. So sometimes, as I said, so for me, whether it's a phobia, whether it's a habit like smoking or alcohol or cocaine, they come in with the belief, I can't quit. That's why they come and see you. And at some point in that discussion we're going to have before I hypnotize them, we're going to find a place where they would quit and how that belief shattered. So that's how I see this, really. I don't see this as complex. And I don't see human beings as complex, really. I think there's a lot of people looking at the science behind hypnosis, which is great. And from the medical point of view, we need those people to try and prove what hypnosis is. Personally, none of my clients care. They don't care how it works, to be honest.
Yes.
It's interesting. From our point of view, it might be really interesting. For me, I just think, I've been using this stuff for so long, and it's become easier and easier. I know that I can influence someone, and I can influence them very quickly. And all it takes is a change of emotion state.
Yes.
Want to say something? Want to say something interesting?
Well, that was one of my takeaways from your book is you just laid it out so clean, and for you to come across so congruently and explaining the simplicity underneath. And I'm one of those people that loves to understand the why and the science underneath it. But to hear your fresh perspective was so empowering for me to just acknowledge that we can go out there and just do this and just change people's lives. It was almost like a permission. And you and I are here today because you have an incredibly ambitious goal. And as you've shared this, I think there are so many people lighting up and jumping on this idea that it's going to create a movement. And so I would love for you to talk to us about the goal that you have as far as helping people stop smoking.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I first started doing this work back in the mid-90s, I had my own business. I had a sales company, and I just got into hypnosis. So I wasn't reliant on this as a living at that point in time. So I just, in my marketing head, I just put a sign out which said this. It said, smoke, ? Want to quit, ? Hypnosis, and bear in mind how long ago it was, £39 guaranteed. If you don't quit, I won't charge you.
Wow.
Right. So, we work with suggestion. So there's a big suggestion in there. This guy's either really good or he's crazy. Because if he wasn't any good, he wouldn't be able to guarantee it. Because he wouldn't be making any money. So the strap line was, what have you got to lose but the habit? which is still a really powerful advert. So anyway, so I've worked like that for a long time with smoking, and people say, well, why would you do that? And my simple mind thinks like this: if I had a dripping tap and I phone a plumber and he comes round and he says, I can fix your tap, and he said that's £90 and my tap's still dripping, I'll be really reluctant to pay it. So I know it's a bit different because people have had our time and whatever else, and they can say, well, they pay for your time. But if someone comes to see me for smoking, I fully expect them to quit. If they're there because they want to quit, that's why I've guaranteed it. But again, as I said, I feel reluctant to take money off people if I haven't done that job for them. Yeah. So anyway, that's been in my mind, and then I wrote the Jacquin quit smoking protocol, which is for hypnotherapists to work with my method of quitting smoking, which has gone great. Lots of hypnotherapists bought it. Lots of people are using it. Some guy online the other day said he's using my quit smoking protocol to help people lose weight, using the sort of ideas behind it, and he's having great results with weight loss because of it. So the next step for me was to put something out for the public. And I had this idea, the Freddy Carr book. Everyone knows about the Alan Carr book. What about the Freddy Carr book? And so I thought about writing this book. And then I thought, it's simple. I can't make it, unless I put a lot of facts, about tobacco and about the chemicals and about the research and all that stuff in it to make it a thicker book. But in reality, it took me about 2 hours to write this, my quit smoking booklet, as I could call it now, rather than a book, 5,000 words. And I actually state at the very beginning of that, if you're reading this, you're here because you want to quit smoking, not because you want a load of information about what tobacco is and how bad it is for you. You already know that stuff. So it really is just a trimmed down, this is why you're smoking, this is how I see it, this is why it's been so difficult to quit, and this is how we're going to help you. And so it's a very brief bit of booklet, but I think it includes everything I want people to understand about it. One, that it's a habit, it's not an addiction, and we can clear that out quite quickly. When I train people how to help people quit smoking with hypnosis, I say there are 3 beliefs that hold people to that habit. The first belief, I can't quit, which is what we were talking about earlier, which is quite easy to get over because I asked that question, if your child's life depended upon it. The second belief, it's an addiction, which again is simple to undermine. And I've done this in front of medical people who say, it's definitely an addiction. Mm-hmm. And this again, I'll tell you now for the people who are listening and who might already be using this, might not be using it. But how I break that belief that it's an addiction is this. I ask the question, how long can you sleep for? And people say, well, I can sleep for 7 or 8 hours. I ask how many they're smoking a day. They say 20. So I say, well, that's on average every 35 minutes. But then you go to bed and sleep for 8 hours. You don't wake up every 35 minutes to have a cigarette. If it was a physical addiction and you're smoking one every 35 minutes because your body needs that chemical, you won't be able to sleep for 8 hours. If someone's taking heroin every 2 hours, they don't say, good night, darling, see you in the morning. By the way, it's Sunday, I'm having a lay-in. They have to get up and have the night sweats, but smokers sleep. I ask how long they've been smoking 20 cigarettes a day for. Now, the majority of people will be smoking that same amount of cigarettes for 10, 20, 30, 50 years, but the same amount every day. And the medical description of what an addiction is, and you can look this up in the American Society of Medication, all that kind of stuff, is that to continue to get any benefit from an addictive substance, whether it's heroin, whether it's morphine, whether it's any kind of depressive pills, to continue to get any benefit, you have to do one of 2 things. You have to increase the dose or shorten the time period between doses. And that's what kills people on heroin. People don't say at 15, that feels good, I'm going to do that for the next 30 years. You have to up and up the dose, they shorten the time period, and then the 2 things come together and they OD. But most smokers have smoked the same amount for years.
Right.
So that's the right. They can sleep, they smoke the same amount. And the third thing is this. As smokers, we make a decision on how many we're going to smoke based on one of two criteria, finance or social acceptability. Most of the girls that you see for smoking, I see for smoking, will smoke 10 or 15 cigarettes a day, especially if they're working in office type environments. And they'll smoke that amount because at that amount, their clothes and their hair don't smell too bad. If they're smoking 40 or 50 cigarettes a day, their clothes would reek of smoke, their hair would reek of smoke, and it would be socially unacceptable for those people to smell of smoke. So they settle for what is socially acceptable. Other people smoke 20 a day because that's what they can afford. In England, a packet of cigarettes now is about £11. So the majority of people are spending £4,000 a year on their cigarettes. So they settle for what they can afford. With an addictive substance like heroin, you do not have the luxury of that choice. People do not say, I'm going to have this much heroin because it's socially acceptable. They'll lay in some stinking toilet doing it. People don't say this much heroin because I can afford it. They'll steal from their families. They'll prostitute themselves. They'll do anything to get the money. Mm-hmm. But smokers settle for what they can afford, or what is socially acceptable. They can sleep. They've not had to increase the dose. And I say this to them. It's a nice tag question. You can see the difference, can you not? And my smokers nod.
Yes.
And then you just describe what a habit is. You know, how we learn something, whether it's driving or walking or talking, and how once it's learned and becomes an automatic function, we no longer have any control over it. And I say to my smokers, for me to say I want you to stop smoking, or your doctor to say I want you to stop smoking, would be like them saying I want you to forget how to drive or forget how to walk. You say, well, it's no longer something I think about, something I just do. And so when I point out that they had to learn to smoke, people don't pick up a cigarette at 12 years old and go, so tasty, so enjoyable. And they laugh. And when they're laughing, I say, the need for a cigarette will be gone, because I know I've just created an emotion in you. And you'll never need a cigarette again. So as soon as I get them laughing, I'm going to hit them with a suggestion. And so once they realise that, I say, you had to learn to smoke. Over a period of time, and over that period of time, the same thing happens with everything else you learn to do. Between that first cigarette, the one you have to think about how you held, the one that made you cough and gag, between that one and the one you took out the packet without thinking, that same process has taken place. Mm-hmm. And they understand it. And then we get into the simple explanation about parts. When we create a skill, like driving or speaking or reading or writing, the moment it becomes an automatic function, it's as if we create a part of us that's doing that job for us. Mm-hmm. And they nod. And so we get into parts negotiation. So that's the second belief. It's an addiction. And the third belief, it's doing something for me. It helps me relax. It's something to do when I'm bored. That's one of my favourites. You know, so it's a reward. You know, when I've done my ironing, I have a cigarette as a reward. I say to my clients, I'll pick up a pen off my desk and I say, look, it's like me saying, I've had a really good day. I'm going to stick this pen in my eye as a reward. The things that people say, you know, and they just say it and they don't even think it through. You know, I'm going to kill myself as a reward for doing the ironing. You know, no thanks. But anyway, so those three beliefs, and then I break that last belief, you know, that it's actually doing something for you. But once those three beliefs are gone, then it's easy to overcome this. And I explain that hypnosis, this is how I see it anyway, it gives me access to the underlying programming. And that's how I see it. So we're going to go and we're going to get that part that's doing that job to do something else for you. And when that happens, the need for a cigarette's gone. So for me, it's very simple explanation. And people get it, you know, and it's the belief that they're addicted, the belief that it's doing something for them, and the belief, and it's all through advertising and marketing, that they can't quit. Once that's gone, it's an easy thing to do. We just, you know, change the underlying programming and it's done.
That's beautiful. So you've created this booklet that tackles those three beliefs And then
Yeah.
what other materials do you have together that's going to help people step out of that smoking habit forever?
Well, in the booklet, I've obviously done an audio then. So we've got, there's a little questionnaire in there which asks some of those questions, you know, because what I say when I'm asking those questions in the smoking pre-talk, as we call it, which is a bit stupid really, because it's all talk, but the pre-talk, all I'm looking for is levers, emotional levers that I'm going to use on that person to get them off that habit. You know, and those questions are quite simple. You know, ask them about the family, who do they love, what do they love doing, you know, what's their goals, all those kind of things. So in the booklet, as I say, it's very simple. I explain what holds the person to the habit. I'll get them to agree that in that booklet that if these things happen, they would quit. And I'm hoping that by the time they get to the actual audio, they've already got that in their head, an understanding. And I like to think that with my smokers as well. When we do the groups, you know, hundreds of people, we have an hour sort of pre-talk. And I say, we're going to have a toilet break because I want you to be comfortable when I hypnotise you. And when people are coming into that auditorium, they're all standing outside having a cigarette. But by the break, no one goes outside. You know, the job is pretty much done before the hypnosis. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic thing. I mean, we see people, and it can get a bit blasé about the fact that, because we do it so often, it becomes something that seems simple to us. But to the person whose life you're changing, it's massive. And some years ago, I had an allotment, which if you don't know in America, it's a piece of allotted ground that the government give you to grow vegetables and plants. And I've got two teenage boys. I've got two boys in their 40s. They're 47 and 45 now. But I've got two teenage boys. They're 18 and 16. But when they were tiny, I thought I'd get this bit of garden to give them an idea of how food grows. It just doesn't come in a packet from Tesco's, you know, it's an idea of how to grow food. And so I got this bit of allotted ground, but I needed a water tank on it. And my wife was looking online, and this guy had a water tank he was giving away about 10 miles from where we lived. So we rang up. He said, yeah, you can come and get it. I knocked on his door, and we're walking up. He said, it's around the back of my house. We're walking up the garden path. And he said, you don't remember me, do you? And I said, I'm sorry, I really don't. And I was seeing thousands of people a year. I said, I really don't. He said, I came to see you 7 years ago with my wife. He said, between us, we were smoking 50 cigarettes a day. He said, we came to see you in a group. He said, how many cigarettes do you think we smoked since we've seen you? I said, none. He said, absolutely. He said, in the past 7 years, we've saved £35,000 that we would have spent on cigarettes. He said, now we got two little girls under 7, he said, which was one of our reasons for quitting. And so I've seen lots of people like that. You know, every now and again you come across somebody who will come up to you and say, you know, I saw you and you did this for me, you did that for me. But yeah, I mean, we can get a bit blasé about changing someone's life with weight loss. You know, you think it's just physical. But you can change a person's life completely by helping them feel good about themselves, get their confidence back, get their health back. You know, we shouldn't underestimate what we can do with hypnosis, really. So anyway, getting back to the smoking thing. So I thought about putting out this book for public, and I thought I can write a very thick book and make it look academic, you know, like so many people do, and quotes and, you know, and little things that you pull out, you know, you cut and paste out of sayings from Zen Buddhism and all kinds of stuff, makes it look really good and clever. Or I thought I could just write this, as you see from my hypnotherapy book, just write as I speak, and which is what I did. And I thought, like, it's 5,000 words, you can hardly call it a book. The audio took me about an hour to record. So I thought I'm going to put it out like that. But then I've got a friend who I trained in Romania with Eugene Popa, and she lives in Rome. So I sent her the booklet just to see what she thought about it. So she contacted me and said, I've actually translated it into Romanian and it's Italian for you. So I spoke to Eugene and he said he'd record it in Romanian. And another guy, Jay, who I trained in just outside Rome, he said he'd record it in Italian. And we did a course earlier on in Portugal with this guy, Ricardo. and he said he'd do it in Portuguese. So now we've got it in English, Portuguese, Italian, and Romanian. So anyway, I just put a thing on Facebook. These 4 people have done this for me. It's going to be great. Anyone who'd like to get on this project, just who'd like to translate it and record it and be part of the project, to put your names down. And now, and that was yesterday, wasn't it? I think it was yesterday lunchtime. Today, we've got it in Hindi, Urdu, Greek, Italian, Hungarian, Serbian, Russian. I could go on. The only thing I think we haven't got it at the moment is Chinese. And someone said to me today, I know someone who's Chinese will do it. But then, it's just amazing. If you think how many people speak Hindu and Urdu, that's loans about 2 billion people. So I just think it makes me smile because what can you say? It's just, let's get it out. Let's get it recorded. Let's put it out there and see how many people's lives we can change.
That is absolutely beautiful. What is your plan for putting it out into the world?
Well, I've done it. I've done my stuff for myself, but I'm wondering whether to wait and do it as one hit. So we've got it on. The whole idea is that people can, we'll just have to do it through social media. Everyone in their own countries, get it out on their Facebook and everything. They subscribe, they go to my website. There'll be a list of all the different languages they can have it in. We've got it. I mean, you're going to do it in, in American English with a female voice. We've got this fantastic guy, Scott Grossberg in LA. I mean, he's a top lawyer there. He's volunteered to do it for me. Fantastic man. He's going to do it in American. And then, I must have had 10 people want to do it in German. So I've had to just take first come, first served. That's how I've done it. But no, I mean, it's exciting. Just to think how many people could we help?
Yeah.
As I said in the post yesterday, if one person quits smoking because of this project, and because of it, they have a better life at their family, and they're healthier, and they have that time with their kids instead, then this whole thing's been worth doing.
Yes.
If 1 million people quit, well, fantastic. But if nothing happens, albeit, but it's got to.
Yes.
Just on percentage.
Yes.
You're going to get a lot of people quitting smoking. And so I'd love to think that, as I said, I've seen 20,000 people personally, where they've seen me, we've been in the same room together. In 2006, I believe, whether I'm wrong or not, I put out the first video hypnosis online video thing, just using the finger lock. And I had 1.5 million hits on that. That was in 2006. The guy who built my website, unfortunately, decided to open a nudist colony in France. I never had access to my website again. So it was sort of the end of that. But, it was a good thing while it lasted. I hope he's in this weather now. It will serve him right. I hope it's wet where he is in his nudist colony. Anyway, so that sort of finished there and then. But it was I can't even tell you how many people I helped online quitting smoking.
Yeah.
And then we've trained thousands of people. My son Anthony and I, with our Jacquin Hypnosis Academy, we've trained people all over the world. I mean, I'm talking Sydney, Australia, Melbourne, Perth, Kuala Lumpur. We're going to India, as I said, in a couple of weeks' time. Everywhere throughout Europe, Berlin, Paris, Vienna, in the States, and Brazil, Belo Horizonte, Rio, Sao Paulo. It's just phenomenal. And so there's other people I've taught how to help people quit smoking. So it's like a ripple. I have no idea how many people are not smoking because of my little idea. So this is going to be great. I mean, I just think I've never seen a collective like it, personally, where so many people have come together with the same sort of thought. And I just love the idea that an idea that I've had is going to go out there and it's going to go and affect a lot of people.
I absolutely love that. And for people watching this video, What are some ideas you have for how we can just make this thing spread like wildfire? I'm thinking people can share this video on their social media, maybe even put the tagline up above that says smoke. What was your advertising? Say smoke, smoker.
Question mark. Want to quit? Question mark. Hypnosis, guaranteed.
Beautiful.
I don't quit. I don't charge. What have you got to lose but the habit?
And then we can put your URL, your website in there. What is the website where you'd like us to direct people?
It's just freddyjacquin.com.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on there. We're just going to put a page on to where people can go. So, but hopefully by the time this comes out, I'll get it done. I mean, it's overtaken me, really. You know, I just had the idea, and it's overtaken the actual logistics of how we're going to get 1 million people subscribed or 1 billion people subscribed. But the truth of the matter is there are 1.3 billion people on this planet who smoke cigarettes. 1.3 billion. And 80% are actively looking to quit. So that's 1 billion people that are actively looking to quit. We only get 1% of that. You know, it'll be a phenomenal result. But, you know, we talk about, especially in America, you know, we talk about billionaires and millionaires, and we bandy these words around. But someone once pointed out that the difference between a million and a billion, do you know what it is? 1 million seconds is 11 days.
Oh.
1 billion seconds is 32 years.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the difference between 1 million and a billion. So when you think about 1 billion people smoking cigarettes, you know, when I was doing these groups around the country and I was taking lots of people out smoking, people said, doesn't it bother you that these tobacco companies are going to put out a hit on you? Because you're taking so many people out of smoking habit. I'm going to have to duck, I tell you, when this thing goes out. Because I'd love it. I'd love it to see tobacco companies collapsing. Because what they hold people on is the belief that it's an addiction. They'd rather pay compensation than accept, than let people know that any time they want to, they could see you, they could see me, they could see any of the hypnotherapists around this world. And within an hour, you can quit that habit. You know, something that is costing them a fortune, is killing them. Yeah. Some of the simple questions I ask people with smoking, I said it to a guy the other day. I said, if someone knocked on your door tonight and said, I've got something for you, it's going to cost you £50,000 over the next 10 years. You won't enjoy it very much. And on top of that, it's going to make you really ill. How many do you want? It's just an amazing thing that people continue to smoke in this world where we know what it's doing to you. But I think most people, if they think they could do it easily, would quit. Most adults. So, you know, let's give them the opportunity and see what we can do. But I honestly believe, you know, with your voice on it, my voice on it, Scott's voice on it, it's going to be immense. And, you know, we've got some fabulous people taking part in this. My sister-in-law's Japanese, and she's not a hypnotherapist, but she contacted me. Do you want me to do it in Japanese? Well, yeah, of course I do.
Yes.
Fantastic. You know, is it Tamling? Is that a language?
I'm not sure.
It's like it's like something from where the Buddhists live. It's one of those.
Is it Mandarin?
Not Mandarin. No, it's Oh, I think it might be. Oh, anyway, it's gone. Sorry, but yeah, it's one of the most ancient languages in the world. And to think that my quit smoking audio is going to be recorded in a very ancient language that only 500 million people know about. It's going to be. I just love it. It's exciting for me, you know, and it just is. You know, to think that we could be part of something fantastic.
You're offering this just absolute life-changing value. Is this going to be hundreds of dollars to get people to sign up?
The people they take it for free. They get it for free. They just subscribe. It's the only way I can do it. To subscribe. They go to my website, they download the booklet, and they download the audio for free. If they quit, then they can pay £10. But if they want to, instead of paying £10, if they've quit and they, you know, having had the experience, they want to pass it on. If they share that with another 10 people, send me £5. I don't care. They don't send me any money, to be honest with you. But you know, and the idea, and I'll say it now, is that 50% of anything we take, and it might be nothing, but 50% of everything we take, anyone that's taken part, you, and not, you know, you, Scott, the other 20 people that have done it in every language, that's going to be spread equally between them, whether not, irrespective of whether people buy it in their language or not. The fact they've taken part, as far as I'm concerned, you know, that's what I'm going to do. So 50% of everything we get through that system, at the end of each month, if it might only be $10, but I'm going to go, right, well, let's just split it between us. What else can I say? Because and none of these people that are volunteering, I haven't said it to anyone else, because no, everyone's volunteered.
Yeah.
But I'd love to think.
Yeah, I would never expect that.
We can have a major party every year.
Yes.
I don't know. It's just a thought in my head, you know, to put it out and just think, okay, let's lessen the packet of cigarettes, and you only pay me if you quit. And the idea in the booklet, it says in the booklet, only when you've saved the money on your cigarettes, if you want, you can pay the money. And I'm not going to know, because it's what I've called it, an honesty product. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to know if they've quit or not. They don't have to pay me if they don't want to. I'd like to think that if they think, well, I'm saving £4,000 a year on my cigarettes, I'm more time with my family, let's pay the 10 quid. But if they don't, they don't. It's really not, that's not what it's about, really. I had to put a price on it. I could have said, but I think purely because there's a certain amount of commitment that people have to make. If it's, you know yourself, if you put a settee outside your house, free to anyone to take away, no one's going to have it. You stick $10 on it, and someone will take it. It's just human nature. So we've had to put a price on it, but the price is less than a packet of cigarettes. If it makes some money out of it, makes some money out of it, but it's really not what I'm about. You can see where I live. I said it to Rick, what's his name, on Mind Flipping podcast.
I'm not sure.
He's, you know, I don't need fortunes. You know, my life is so sweet. I live right here on the sea. I look out across the sea. I'm actually in my bedroom. This is the view I see every morning.
Wow.
I've got 4 sons that love me. I've got 5 grandchildren that love me. Woman that loves me. You know, I'm fit and well. You know, so if it brings money in, fine. But I'm not giving it to I told my boys who were 16 and 18, don't wait for my money, because they're not getting it. You know, they've got to go out and man up and go and try and make it themselves. So, yeah, it's not about that. It's really about the whole excitement, seeing how many people we can get this thing to. So, yeah, the idea is that if you know, you can download it, you can use it, you can share it. If it works for you, fantastic. But yeah, that's the idea.
That's just beautiful. Before we say goodbye, one thing that has really stood out to me since you and I have met is several times you said, oh, I'm going to do this thing, and then you implement it right away. You are such an action taker. And I remember hearing about this smoking program you were going to do a few weeks ago, and already you've got the ball in motion. And I wondered if you could just talk a little bit about the... So now we come to the portion of the interview when my computer decided to reboot with no warning. We'll pick up on Freddy telling a story about Milton Erickson in response to my question, which got cut off, about how a person can feel inspired to take action, even when you don't feel ready, even when it's outside your comfort zone, and even when you may feel a little overwhelmed. I hope you enjoy the remainder of this interview, and I hope you come away feeling inspired to take action on that thing you've been waiting to do. Enjoy.
And the guy was dying from cancer. He had cancer of the jaw, and the guy was dying. And he didn't want to take any more morphine because he wanted to be able to converse with his family in those last few months. So he called Erickson in. And anyway, he did this work and he took his pain away. And someone said to Erickson afterwards, they said, did you know you could do that? And Erickson said these words. And honestly, if you're a new hypnotist, whatever line of life work you're in, he said this. He said, I had my doubts. But what I had no doubt about was I could keep my doubts to myself. And honestly, that's as hard to learn as some of the techniques. But it's so valuable for us when we step up to hypnotize. You know, you're going to have those doubts. I wonder if this person's bright enough. I wonder if I can hypnotize this person. You've got to keep those doubts to yourself. Act as if they're going to hypnotize. And I say to my pupils, I say, look, you just run this loop in your mind when you step up to hypnotize. I'm a great hypnotist. You're a great subject. You're going to go into hypnosis. Just run that little loop in your mind. And then you step up in a different way. So when it comes to doing stuff, take action. You know, ideas without action's nothing. And so many people have had great ideas and never come to fruition. Just do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? You're back where you are, and the people that love you still love you. That would be my advice. Just have a go. You know, I know my son is a much more methodical and much more, he's a bit of a perfectionist, if you like, which is great, because I just go off on a tangent. And but I've lasted this long.
Yes.
So must be doing something right. You know, and people can think what they want, you know, and I don't think it's about confidence. It's about not really giving two monkeys whether or what people think of you. Because that's what you'll know it, even in your line and people around you. Most of the anxiety that we have is through worrying about what other people think. Mm-hmm. And as I say to people, you're not a mind reader. They must be thinking that, she must be thinking that. I said, you're not a mind reader. You have no idea what they're thinking. I just assume that everyone's going to like me.
I love it.
It's not going to, I know it's not true, but I act as if.
Yes.
Then the worst thing, I can be disappointed. But you know, I think if you trust yourself, who you are, be yourself. That's what it is. You know, just being yourself. Just trust that you're a good enough person. And those who get you will get you, and those who don't won't. But you just got to be yourself. You can pretend to be something else. It won't last very long, and people will see through it eventually. So it's a much better way to live. Just be yourself. Be happy. Do your best for people. Try your best. If you can change someone's life for the better, go and do it. You know, and take the opportunities. I don't know if you saw that little thing. I was in hospital a few weeks back. Remember?
I did.
The guy sitting next to me was in agony. And my wife was with me because she convinced me to go to the hospital because I had this pain in my side, which had gone by the time I got to the hospital. But he's in agony. And I said to my wife, I said, I'm going to have to help him. She said, he's in hospital. You've got to let him see the doctors. So I said, okay. So he was moaning and groaning, walking up and down, only in his 30s. And I heard him say to the guy sitting next to him, his back was in agony, but that's not why he was there. He'd been in pain with his back for 20 years, and they'd given him so much morphine, it ruined his stomach. And that's why he was in ER. So I said, do you want me to help you? You're like, what do you mean? I said, I'm a hypnotist. So he looked at me a bit strange. He said, let me show you something interesting. And quite literally, Laurie, all I did was I did a finger lock. As long as it takes, 30 seconds. I got him to think about his kid, put his fingers locked. He's now in this state, trying to pull his hands apart. He can't. I said, all I'm going to do is this. I'm going to touch your hand. You're going to feel energy transfer from me, like an electric charge of energy go through your body, like the most incredible pain relief ever. And all that useless, unnecessary pain is going to go from your body. Get ready. I went, boom. He went, ooh. Wow. And he looked at me and he went, I won't say the word he said, but it began with F and ended in K. And he said, what have you done? And he's getting up and he's moving around. He can't feel any pain. Quite literally, it took as long as it took me to tell you as it did to do that. And he's on the phone to his wife saying, I've just met this strange guy in the hospital and he's taking my pain away. Why would we not have a go at that? You know, I'm doing this, I'm doing a thing at Hypno Thoughts Live. I'm doing a day on stuff from my book. It's going to be full on, and you know, every 30 minutes another technique. But I'm also doing a presentation, and the presentation is everyday hypnosis that anyone can use. You know, if you're in the airport and you've got someone next to you who's terrified of getting on that plane, could you in 5 minutes take that fear away? If you've got someone that you love that's in chronic pain, can you in 5 or 6 minutes take that pain away? If you've got someone who's terrified of something, can you help that person? So that's going to be my presentation. Everyday hypnosis that everyone can use. That's what I want. I want the arrow technique. I want mums using it, dads using it, teachers using it. You know, for me, it's just, as you know, I do these free pain seminars. I haven't done for the last couple of months because I've been traveling. But as soon as all the traveling's over, I'm going to go back. And every month on Zoom, I do this free pain seminar on the 11th of each month. We've had 300 people on those, you know. I won't ever charge someone to help them out of pain, ever again. And that's just been a choice I've made. I want to help hundreds, maybe thousands of people overcome their pain. And I want everyone to know how to do that, because I think we should. This is just a fantastic tool. You know, the problem you've got is trying to shut me up. Because
this is wonderful. I love that you're sharing. I think this is going to be valuable to so many people. And I do believe that you are one of the most beloved people in the hypnosis community because your heart for helping people comes through. You can tell that that is primary for you, is just letting people find freedom. And it's absolutely beautiful. I am so grateful for you sharing this. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like people to know about your program, about you? Any final words?
No, you can go to my website. It's not all bells and whistles. FreddyJacquin.com. You can look and you know, I'm running a little, I call it a retreat in my little, you know, my new office, which I call the changing room, which is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek. You know, it's on the high street here in my town. And the idea is that people come in and change. You know, they get changed. So I'm running a little retreat here. It's only 4 or 5 people at a time in this, I could say, beautiful place, but it's raining hard here today. So I just want to keep doing it and keep telling people, keep teaching people, and helping people as you do. You know, and this has been great meeting you. We first did a little thing on Zoom, didn't we?
Yes.
In the car park, if I remember.
Yes.
You know, and that was the first sort of meeting we had. But I feel like I know you, you know, and I love the stuff you do. You know, I always try and, wherever I can, get people to know what you're doing and get you helping people. So I think it's just a sharing thing. The Brainiac thing that I've got on Facebook, where other hypnotherapists, and any of your people that are hypnotherapists, can go on there. Anyone can join. And the idea is that we just help each other around the world. Hypnotherapist to hypnotherapist. You know, just Zoom with each other, get our online skills up. And in the meantime, helping each of us expand our abilities. And maybe that's why my brain's gone creative. You know, it's more about what's trying to contain myself rather than what can I do next. You know, it's so, you know, this is a fantastic thing that we do with hypnosis. And the people who are listening to this who work with hypnosis, the people who are thinking of using hypnosis, I don't see any limits to this once you understand it. And here's what I'd like to impart with you, and with the people that are watching this. If you think about what we said at the beginning of this, for me, it's very easy to influence. If I can create an emotion within you, I can give you a suggestion. But we've got to understand that that's happening throughout our day. You know, someone will make us laugh, someone will make us cry, someone will make us angry. If you're ready with 2 or 3 self-suggestions, I want to be this, I want to feel that, I want to be able to achieve that. So just 2 or 3 self-suggestions that you're ready with when someone makes you smile. You just wind it in your mind. Thank you very much. Someone makes you angry. They've just pushed you close to achieving what you want, because you're going to give yourself that self-suggestion. Let me show you something very, very quickly, okay?
Yes, please.
You've got kids, have you not?
Yes.
Okay, put your arm out in front of you like this. Right, look at me, look into the camera, look at me, and think about those beautiful kids of yours. Feel that love they feel for you, you feel for them. See those faces, feel that love that reminds you of just how loved you are and how fabulous you are as a woman, as a mother. As you feel that love, I want you to notice that hand's hanging all by itself. Imagine now there's nothing you can do about that. And when you realise there's nothing you can do about it, you can try and get it down and find it goes even higher, Laurie. Push as hard as you can, find it goes even higher now. Put some effort in, find it goes even higher. Are you in a trance? Not in a trance? Push even harder. Come on, you're a strong woman. Now something strange is going to happen. The harder you try and get that hand down, the higher the other one's going to lift. Push even harder, find the other one going up. That's right, it's an incredible understanding, Laurie. There it goes. But are you in a trance, not in a trance? Are you hypnotized? No, it's strange, isn't it?
Yes,
So,
this is what you did to me in my car.
so I'm going to click my fingers. Your hands will drift down. When they touch that desk or drop onto your legs, your eyes will close for a split second. When they open, you're going to feel incredible. You're going to have a smile on your face and a totally new understanding of just how loved you are and just how brilliant you are as a woman, as a hypnotherapist, as a mother. Get ready. Hands drifting down, feeling absolutely incredible now. Eyes opening, feeling absolutely wonderful. Right,
Beautiful.
so, right, this is not complex. So remember, get yourself some positive self-suggestions for yourself. You know, if it's weight loss, you know, I want to be, and then state your goal. And then every time someone upsets you or makes you smile or makes you laugh, you're ready just with that little self-suggestion in your head. And you'll find yourself just moving towards it without even thinking. So I hope that helps everyone that's been listening to this. And, you know, next time I see you all, you'll all be achieving everything you want. You're going to be super happy, super free. That'll be great. Okay, so look out for this little thing. I'm going to release it soon.